Hi, good evening, and welcome to the Jon Gaunt Show. Let's talk about the welfare bill revolt. And it is a revolt. Is it going to sink Starmer? 120 and counting Labour MPs say they'll vote against the government. This could topple Starmer. Either way, he loses. If they turn around and say, okay, we'll back you, it's still going to be embarrassing. This is the moment, I think, when Starmer loses the leadership of the Labour Party and therefore also being Prime Minister. I don't think it'll lead to a general election. Somebody else will take over. But Starmer is definitely hold beneath the waterline. Do you agree with me or not? Get commenting on the comments below, please. And who do you want to replace him? 120 Labour MPs are rebelling against Keir Starmer's leadership. It's an unprecedented level of internal revolt, especially revolt even when you think he's only been in power for just nearly 12 months. It's going to sink Starmer's leadership. If he U-turns, and today Angela Rayner stitched him up in Parliament, she was pressed, is this vote going to still happen? She said yes, on the record. He's been at NATO, hiding again, of course, trying to buddy up to Donald Trump. And Keir Starmer today at a press conference also said, yes, it will go ahead. What is your view on this? I think it's a full-scale Labour Party crisis. I think he loses either way, because if he wins the actual vote, he's still the loser, as this is clearly a vote of confidence, or should I say no confidence, on his first 12 months in office. Can Keir Starmer survive? A lot of you on Twitter this afternoon, because we've started discussing it there, have said, yes, he's Teflon. He'll survive. Do you really think that? Can I have some comments, please, as quickly as possible, and I'll come to them and we'll discuss the issue with you. Let's think about the missteps that he's made. I jokingly said he's made more missteps than a fat TV personality on Strictly Come Dancing. I'm only half joking. By the way, welcome to the Jon Gaunt Show. Good to have you on board. So what are those missteps? Well, just off the top of my head, the winter fuel allowance. And then, of course, he had to do a U-turn after 10 months of us telling him. I guess the VAT on private schools didn't go down very well either. And one thing that definitely alienated the British public against him was when he called the Southport protestors, after those girls were slaughtered in a dance class, he called them all far right. Do you remember? Then there's Lucy Connolly being locked up for 31 months. There's his involvement in Ukraine, where he keeps saying the British people are right behind you, President Zelensky. Are they? Then there's the fact he hasn't really backed Donald Trump on Iran. Even today, he was hedging his words. And there's plenty more, which I'm sure you can come up with. I mean, things like the black hole, £24 billion black hole. Nobody believes him. And all of this has led to him having the worst poll ratings of any prime minister in history. So the question is, can he survive? And if he can't, and this is probably where the discussion could get quite funny and amusing and also serious at the same time, if he does get removed, i.e. because this would severely wound him, especially after the winter fuel allowance U-turn, the Conservatives would make mincemeat of him, so would Reform, so I think he would stand down. I think he's got the look of somebody already who knows he's finished. A bit like a football manager when you get the dreaded vote of confidence from the chairman and you know that means he's off talking to somebody else. So I think his position's under intense pressure. So then it leads on, as I say, into who would replace him. Angela Rayner, Andy Burnham, the mayor of Manchester, he's positioned himself. Of course, he's not an MP at the moment, but they could easily solve that with a quick by-election. And here's one that might really upset you. How about Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London? I would like your views. Somebody on Twitter, I'll just read a couple of these out because it's been going bonkers on Twitter. Somebody's saying it's obviously going to be the health secretary. What do you think? I said, rejoice, rejoice, as Mrs. Thatcher would say. Keir Starmer is finished next Tuesday. That's when the vote is, regardless of which way the welfare vote goes. He's lost the support of his MPs just as he's lost the public. His days are numbered, and I think he knows it. But who or what will replace him? What do you think? Other people, Jude Murphy on Twitter, he won't go. He has no honour or strength of character to know he's finished. He just blunders on. Other people are saying, let's rejoice at another one with a PM salary for life. They do get that's absolutely true. Liz Truss got it as well. It's ridiculous. What do you reckon then? Angela Rayner, says Anne, laughing, the first female for the Labour Party. David Lammy, what do you reckon? Let's have your opinions. The Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, and somebody else, no comment, says on Twitter, he's never had the support of the public, Gaunty. I think they're all fair points. So that's it, really. That's all I want to say. I now want to throw it over to you and get your opinion. I've had a lot of people on Twitter saying I'm talking rubbish, and it won't be the end of him. I'm telling you, I'm not the only political commentator who says this is a real possibility. This is a crunch moment. Basically, those backbench MPs, they know, especially the ones in the so-called red wall, they're finished. So they'll probably take the kamikaze view, may as well go now rather than in a few months' time. They may as well make the issue right because, and I actually agree with them. I think this welfare bill, I think it's a misstep by Starmer. He's cutting the money from the very vulnerable. He could have done it in a cleverer way. And also the amount of money he's going to raise is peanuts within the budget. I agree that benefit fraud and people getting benefits who shouldn't get them or could go to work should get to work. I'm all in favour of that. But I just think perhaps we could make or save a lot more money by sorting out the crisis at Dover. Maybe we shouldn't be giving Zelensky another £5 billion to waste on weapons. Surely Donald Trump has proven his worth. He has brought peace to Iran / Israel. He has done it. And at NATO today, they all had to admit it. And no wonder he rubbed their noses in it. Good on him. He is the daddy. And I think he'll sort out Ukraine now as well. But we can't keep giving money to Ukraine. We can't keep giving 8 million a day to hotels. We can't let people come and live here and work in the black economy and not contribute. Not if we're kicking people with disabilities, I use this as a metaphor, out of their wheelchairs. It's wrong. It's wrong. So I agree with the 120 rebels who are going to smack him right across the chops. And those rebels include people, or they're supporters of those rebels, include people like Sadiq Khan, who I think could be the next leader of the Labour Party and the next Prime Minister. He would argue, look at my CV. I've run the biggest city, one of the biggest cities in the world. Don't get me wrong, I don't want him. Or what about Andy Burnham up in Manchester? Because they're all going to position themselves. I know you lot, or a lot of people saying it's going to be Angela Rayner. I don't think it will be. But you've got to be careful what you wish for. It's not going to be Rachel Thieves, is it? Because she's going to have to go with him. because she's behind this. She's been ringing up all the backbench MPs saying, you better not do this. It's Keir Starmer, and if Keir Starmer goes, you go. Well, they probably think, no, that won't happen. We're in power for 4 years. If Keir Starmer goes, somebody else will come in. I need to get in favour with them. That's what's going to happen. Meanwhile, there'll be paralysis. Nothing will happen. So it'll F up all of us. So it's not necessarily a great day to rejoice. But I say Keir Starmer is on his way out. I say the Labour government is in crisis. And I say he's sunk beneath the waterline. If you disagree, I want to hear from you. Fraser Ford's got the balloons out. Thank you, my friend. Peacehaven Dweller reposted the stream. Thank you very much indeed. If you can do that, it really helps to get the audience figures up. Evening, John. Starmer has sunk so far. Kate Winslet is asking for her necklace back. I love it. Nice one, my friend. I like my Come Dancing one. He's made more missteps than a fat bloke on Strictly Come Dancing, because he has. No to the Ginger Girls, says Keith Swankle. No to Khan. Burnham could be a possibility. Well, he's been positioning himself, hasn't he, with the rape gang thing, and of course our soldiers who were exposed to radiation in those terrible experiments. So he's been positioning himself for months, but he is not an MP at the moment. So they'd have to make him an MP. So there'd probably be an interim leader, stroke prime minister, and that would be the deputy leader of the Labour Party, which is in crisis, which is Angela Rayner. Oh my God. What do you say to all of this? Let's get your comments. John, Starmer finished. He never even bloody started. He's a total waste of time, says Glyn Collis. I've got to agree with you, Glyn. The other problem with Starmer is he seems to make the wrong choice on everything he does. Like, his PR is dreadful. If there's an open goal, he'll deliberately keep on dribbling. If he was doing football practice, you know, where they dribble past bins, the bins would win 10-0. They would. He just hasn't got that common touch. I don't know if you've seen the news tonight, but I was watching it this afternoon. He stands next to Trump, and it's like man or daddy and a boy, literally. He didn't know what to say because he knows he stitched up Trump. He didn't back him. And then the bloke who's in charge of NATO turns around, Mark Rutte or whatever his name is, and basically, well, I was going to say something really offensive then I decided not to. He is so far up Trump, it's unbelievable. Culminating in calling him the daddy, saying the daddy sometimes has to tell the kids off and shout at them. Trump was loving it. But I'm sorry, all you people who hate Trump, he has brought peace, it looks like, to me, to Iran and Israel. And I love the way he's attacking the mainstream media, calling them scum. It's just brilliant, isn't it? Well, that's the kind of leader we need. Putting America and Americans first. That's what all the tariff thing's about. And, you know, what they're not desperately not saying on the BBC, for example, I was watching a bit on there, is the fact that they are so careful of what they say to Trump. Because Trump's got them exactly where he wants them. He's got them on the floor with his foot on their neck. They are all now saying, oh, yeah, we'll do 5% towards defence, but it might take a few years. A few weeks ago, they wouldn't pay for their defence. But then there's madness there. Why the hell are we buying 12 jets? Where's Starmer getting the money from? Is it down the back of his settee in one of the houses that's just been burnt down by the Ukrainian models? I don't know. But he's still spending money like it's going out of fashion. $5 billion to Zelensky. He agreed it yesterday. Did he talk to you about it? Did he talk to me? No. He's not a leader. If he's anything, he's a failed tin pot dictator of what's rapidly becoming a banana republic. He's got to go. He has got to go. Diane Abbott seems their best candidate at the moment. She's the best one at maths, isn't she? John Ryan, you're being sarcastic, my friend. We've got 10 likes. Keep them coming, please. Amazing how Starmer can find the funds when it suits him, says Seeking on YouTube. Exactly. Fraser Ford has put his thumb up. Russia and China know not to mess with Trump now. The days of Biden are over. That's a very good point, Seeking on YouTube. A very good point indeed, because I think what's happened is, by the way he's treated Iran, he wasn't worried about their nuclear arsenal. He just, in his words, obliterated it. That's leadership. And the BBC can't stand it. The bias in their coverage has been amazing. Even today, when the UN and the head of the UN was basically saying Donald Trump is the daddy, he's the boss, the BBC hated it. All their liberal ideas out of the window. Because what people want in the end is a strong leader. People want somebody who's going to go in and fight for them. And they don't care if he occasionally says the F word. Ordinary people don't give an SH1T about things like that, as long as he delivers. I think I've told you this tale before. I went to the Seychelles on my honeymoon about 40 years ago, and we went to the Independence Day celebration, and they were a real socialist republic. There's all these people in this football arena. UB40 played on the second night. That's how long ago it was, right? And they were good. And all these grannies came in military fatigues, but they had them machine guns, but made out of wood, because they obviously didn't have enough stuff. And there were posters everywhere. This revolution will never be defeated. And then, so all these people marched around, bands playing and everything. We were the only two white people, me and Lisa, I think, in the bloody audience. I was loving it. It was just a great spectacle. It was like one of those Russian spectacles, but without any of the equipment, if you'd follow what I'm saying. And then a white Volvo came into the arena, and it was the president of the Seychelles at that time, René Albert, his name was. And he stood up in the Volvo, put his head out of the sunroof, a bit like a Pope-mobile, right? And he was white, obviously, yeah, because this is the hypocrisy. He was the arch socialist. Anyway, he then did a speech, and they were all laughing at this speech. And it was in Seychellois, I think it's called, which is a combination of Creole, French, English, all mixed up, right? I couldn't understand a word of it, but he wasn't doing it for me. He was doing it for the crowd. The next day, when we were back at the hotel, I asked one of the waitresses, you know what, did you go yesterday? I said, yeah, really interested. But I said, what was his speech about? And she said, oh, people have been criticizing El Supremo, René Albert. They say that he's got a woman on every island. Now, bear in mind, the Seychelles got 1,000 islands. So that's going some, isn't it? That's going some, right? And he said this in this speech. He said, I hear people are criticizing me, saying I have a woman on every island. And then he paused. And then he said, but I ask you, do you want a president or a saint? And that's when they all laughed, because he had helped them. He had brought them out of economic problems. It all went tits up a few years later. But the point I'm trying to make is people liked him because he was tough, he was hard, and he had a vision. Now then, let's look at Starmer. Weak-willed, lily-livered, hasn't got a clue, hasn't got a plan. What's his vision? You know that song, What's the Big Idea? He hasn't got one. He hasn't even got a small idea. And more is coming out of him about his past, right? He's an uber liberal, almost a communist. And he's running our country, and he's running it into the ground, which is why I've used this image again. Look at him there. He hasn't got a bloody clue. So I hope the Labour rebels do him. Deakin says, West Streeting. Yeah, you think West Streeting. Yeah, a couple of people have said that already. There'd be riots if Khan got in, says John Ryan. Would there? I don't think necessarily. I think he's a shoo-in if he wants it. I can see Khan getting it. Let's tick the boxes. Ran a major city, been elected 3 times, Muslim, oh, massive tick there, uber liberal, Hates cars. Whoa, big tick there. Hates the army. Whoa, big tick there. Hates anyone being aggressive. Whoa, hates the police. Tick, 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 tick. Get ready for Prime Minister Khan. I can see it. I can see it now. What about you? Let's get your views. Oh, I was going to talk about the Coventry MP today, Sultana, yeah, who is supporting Palestine action. She put up a tweet saying, we're all Palestine action. I wrote on there, I'm not. Right? I've got enough. I don't want kids being killed like that. I don't want that to stop. And I think Trump will make it happen. But I don't think you go into Bryce Norton and cause £30 million worth of damage to our beautiful, beautiful planes and endanger our beautiful servicemen's lives. Do you? No. She's a disgrace. She shouldn't be allowed to be an MP. She's MP. Somebody said, well, she's MP for Coventry. It's your fault. It's not my bloody fault. She's not from Coventry. She's a Brummie. She's probably a Villa fan to add to it as well. I don't know about that bit. I'm making it up. But we'll do her maybe tomorrow, if you pardon the expression. If Starmer loses the vote next Tuesday, do you think he'd call a snap election? No. If he called a snap election, he'd lose. Or will he hold on to the summer break and the party conference season to give himself time to recover, says Mick Smith. No, Mick, he won't do either of those things. I think he's gone. You know when you've got a job and you don't want it and you've gone in the head? I think he's gone in the head already. No, he'll just have to resign. He can't stay on as leader of Labour if half of the party, the parliamentary party, have turned against him. Not only that, the people in the country, the general population, are definitely tomorrow we'll do an experiment. Go up to anybody in the street and say, do you like Keir Starmer? Or do you think he's doing a good job? Nobody does, apart from a few arseholes on Twitter. Excuse my language. Yeah. He's finished. He's absolutely finished. And I think that's why the backbenchers are doing what they're doing. They sense that he's injured or that he wants to give up. So, no, I think he'll go. I think they'll have an election. And I think probably what happened, because they're so incompetent, they'll probably get Angela Rayner to do it, which would just be even worse. But they don't care about the country. They only care about power. Look at Rachel Thieves and the budget. She didn't give a hell. Doesn't give a toss about you or me. The two lots of people they've attacked, the elderly and people with disabilities, they're not who they should be attacking. What about the big corporations? They're meant to be Labour. They're meant to be socialists. They're more conservative than the Conservatives. Mind you, they're a shower of SH1TE as well, aren't they? So, no, Mick, I don't think that'll happen. Eric Kendall says, I found you again and you're still talking sense. Thank you, Eric. I'm here every day, well, Monday to Thursday, definitely, 6:30. But I've got a TV channel, YouTube, so I know you're watching on Facebook. If you go to Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube, you'll see me. You'll see my channel. You'll see all the archive of all the videos. I've been doing it now for about 6 months. Where have you been? But it's good to have you back on board. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is for everybody now. It's free. You just press the subscribe button there. Press that bell as well, because that gets you notified every time I'm going to do a video. Because tomorrow I'm probably going to do it slightly earlier. I've got something I've got to do in the evening. Also, as well, if you want to help, you can donate a coffee, buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. There are £5 at a time. Most people buy 3, and then you're donating 15 quid towards the podcast. Keep on going. Keep me not having to sell the big issue outside Woolies. Shows me age. It's closed down. Or you can buy me one of these rewards on YouTube. If you look on the video, there's a little $sign. If you click that, you can donate whatever you want. And it'd be great. It'd be great if you could do that. So welcome on board. Nice to have you, my friend. Eric. Keep growing the channel, John. It's all good stuff. Thank you, Matt Copen on YouTube. I will, Matt, but I need your help and I need your donations. Thank you very much indeed. The channel is growing slowly. Bloody slow. Of course it is. Trump is what the UK needs, says Joe Shepherd. He's agreeing with me. Magna Carta says, You mug, you think the war is finished. It is for you, mugface. Magna, why isn't it finished? Well, Iran, like Trump said today in the press conference, well, they can come back if they want, but they ain't got no weapons. They ain't got any nuclear facility now. Despite what CNN and that bunch of lefty liberal bunch say. Same with the BBC, still saying, oh, we're not sure. We're not sure. That's because they've got all the fingers crossed and their toes. He'll sort out Israel and Hamas next. And that'll mean that Sultana bird ain't got anything to talk about. She's the MP for Coventry and the Gaza Strip. She makes me sick. What she said, we're all Palestinian now. No, we're not. No, we're not. We can be against the mass killing. I'm against that. I don't want children to die. But I don't necessarily support everything the Palestinians do. I certainly don't support Hamas. Zara, Sultana, you brummie. Where are we next? She'd sort the £22 million black hole. Who would? Who would? Mrs. Thatcher, I guess you're talking about. I don't know. Mick Smith's back on YouTube. Even if Starmer loses the vote next week, I think... I've read that already. You put it up twice. Anyway, good one. Lord Hermer and Ali Baba are pulling Starmer's strings. I think they've been pulling some then, but I'm not quite sure what. Hey, stop that now. Starmer the Harmer. John Ryan says, hates the British public. Who does? Starmer, maybe. Britain needs reform. Well, yeah, you see, but that's what I got a bit worried about, people saying, oh, well, we'll get reform in now. We'll have a general election. Look, if Starmer loses or he loses face, whichever way it happens, he's lost either way, yeah? It doesn't mean there'll be a general election. That'd be like turkeys voting for Christmas. All these MPs who are voting against him on Tuesday, they don't want to lose their jobs. That's why they're voting against him. So they ain't then going to go to a general election. Remember this. In terms of the popular vote, I think he got less votes than Jeremy Corbyn at the election before. A lot of these people got in by a few hundred votes. Even people like Jess Phillips, right? Minister for Women or whatever she is, Minister for the Muslim rape gangs. She only won by a few votes. So they're all worried. And they're certainly worried about the Muslim bloc vote. They are. So they aren't going to go in the northern towns to the polls. They'll cling on. But they want rid of Starmer. Some of them want rid of Starmer because they want a proper lefty in charge, a Corbyn-type figure. And some, they want more of a Blair figure. But either way, just like you and me, they are completely and utterly P1SSED off. Starmer. Starmer is finished. Matt Copen says UKIP all the way. Yes, but it's not realistic, is it? If there was a general election, UKIP wouldn't do any good. They wouldn't. If they got one seat, I'd be amazed. Or reform, I think they could do really well. Only because of the popularity of Farage. But that says something about the political class, doesn't it? If Khan gets in, the people will not tolerate it. You're a top man, John. Thank you very much indeed, Kevin Lewis. No donations so far. What's up with you? Am I no good tonight, or is it not being transmitted? By now, I've normally had a few YouTube rewards, whatever they're called. The little dollar sign, just press it. Donate £1, £2, whatever you want to do. 20 quid, 100 quid. That'd be good. Or just go to www.buymeacoffee.com and then you'll get your name on the bottom of the screen. If you're listening on a podcast, please come to YouTube. Check out Jon Gaunt TV. You'll find all my podcasts there. You'll find everything, all the videos, all the live shows, and all the information. That's where I'm basically putting it all at the moment. Martin Goodman, we demand transparency, truth, protection, and freedom. Instead, we're faced with nothing but whitewashed lies, endangerment, and imprisonment. Enough is enough. I like it, Martin. I like it. Nice one. Thank you very much indeed for your comments. But you're dead right. That's what we need. That's what we thought we were getting. I thought we voted for change. Change? Nonsense. White, middle-class, liberal North London, champagne socialists, says Seeking. I think he's talking about Labour. Well, he could be talking about the Tories, couldn't he? Keith Swankle, unions have been very quiet about his failures or are they being censored too? Who knows? Who knows? What I will tell you is this is an unprecedented internal revolt in Labour. It could sink Starmer's leadership, trigger a full-scale Labour Party crisis, but it could also trigger a massive problem for this country. Look at the mistakes he's made already. Winter fuel allowance, the VAT on private schools, calling the Southport protesters far right, Lucy Connolly locking her up for 31 months, the amount of money he's poured into Ukraine, and then the way on Ukraine, he wouldn't back Trump. He had his coalition of the useless, and that he didn't back Trump on the bombing of the Iranian nuclear facilities. So that's all added up to the worst poll ratings for Keir Starmer of any Prime Minister in history. That's why I'm asking, can he survive? And I'm asking you now, who would you like to replace him? Angela Rayner, Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Manchester, or Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London? We're talking about the battle for Labour's future. I believe it will be Sadiq Khan. If you've got a different view, I want to hear it. Khan's involved in the grooming gang, says Kennedy Jerry. Unless you've got clear evidence of that, you shouldn't say things like that because you haven't got the evidence and it doesn't do anybody any good. And on that donate note, I'm out. Bye. What does that mean? You don't want to donate? Well, fair enough. You just want everything for free. That's all right. It's up to you, mate. You don't have to pay. No one's going to take you to prison for not paying Gaunty. Jane Dyers Lyons. Evening, Gaunt. It's Gaunty. Glad I've caught a live one. Well, thank you very much indeed. Normally it's 6:30. Sometimes it's different times, but thank you for being here today. As useless as the Tories are in opposition, what's the point of the Lib Dems? They've still got 72 MPs. What a waste. Oh, sorry. What a waste of 72 seats. It's no surprise all the talk is about reform. You're right, my friend. Thank you. That was Chopper MK50. Greg Galvin on Facebook just wants to say, evening, John. Evening. Calvin Minster says, get the Marxist globalist trash can Starmer out. Ask America for help if he won't leave willingly. Somebody said, you'll never get him out of number 10. He'll have to be dragged out kicking and screaming. In a straitjacket, probably. The Ginger Growler would at least be able to distract Farage by flashing at him. Oh, no, please. On every level, that is so wrong. So wrong. Starmer out of the country again. Well, he is at NATO. Leaving his female frontbenchers groupies in charge, and they're all just as useless as him, says Sparrow61 on YouTube. Thank you very much indeed. John Ryan just says Khan, whatever that means. John, can you please explain to me, this is Greg Galvin, how it's okay for politicians to head up departments despite never working in that sector or the industry? And even then worse, moving on to another one completely different. Well, it isn't, is it? That's why Billy Connolly's right when he says no point in voting. Whoever you vote for, the government always get in. It's the civil servants who run the country, which is why Trump was right when he used to say he wants to drain the swamp. And that's what we need to do in this country. It's what Reform want to do in their local councils. Starmer hasn't got the balls to call a general election. Well, he'd also be stupid to. So I think you're right. He wouldn't win. It's obvious he wouldn't win at the moment. But thanks for your point. So hopefully next election there'll be a better turnout and people might vote Reform. Well, if you look at the by-elections and if you look at the council elections, that looks like it will happen. It looks like it will happen. Now, this is interesting. There we are. Steve's just put £2 into the pot on YouTube. He says, Gaunty is the voice behind the real people. Now, careful. I don't want to be a leader. I'm just saying what I think. And I want other people to say what they think. That's called democracy. And that's called real talk or radio. Joyce Stewart says he will pull the bill. I think there's a good chance of that, Joyce, but let me tell you what I think about that. If he pulls the bill and doesn't have a vote, won't that knock his credibility even further? Won't that make him even more of a dictator in people's eyes? won't it make people hate him even more? I think now he's got to go ahead. And the point is, they could have done this bill and sold it better, but they're attacking the wrong people. He's like the playground bully, isn't he? Picking on the weak kid. Then his big brother comes along with muscles like Popeye and kicks 7 barrels of you-know-what out of Starmer. Stop it. So that's the other problem. Ronnie Hurst says reform can't be any worse than this shower we're having now. That's true. I don't think I'd be any worse, to be honest with you. David Edwards, yes, but that's not the attitude, John. We all need to get behind UKIP. Why? That's your view. I know you think they ain't got a chance, but I just don't trust reform anymore. And I voted for them last time. Well, I've trust reform, I've got to be honest with you, David Edwards, much more than I trust UKIP. I don't like that bloke who's leading them. He comes over as a thug. I don't think that's a good look. I really don't. How can we get him out early? Well, we can't. We can get him out early by the MPs doing their job next week and him being so wounded. He's drowning now. He's a drowning man. He's a dead man walking. What other cliches do you want? And, of course, he's up against this massive bloke, Donald Trump, who's a success. He's flown in, duffed them all up. He's got back on his private jet now and he's on his way back to the States. You've got to love him, haven't you? You've got to love him. Seekin says UKIP or Trojan horse. I don't know about that. Bus driver says national insurance. Don't know what. Oh, that was one of his other mistakes. Precisely. That's basically knackered loads of small businesses, especially the hospitality trade. My mate's got a hotel. I've got other mates who've got pubs. It's just impossible. And increasing the minimum wage, which you all want, but it's like we all want peace in Gaza. You can't always have everything you want straight away. Nobody's this bad unless they're doing it on purpose, says Paul Rowbottom. And I can't help but feel we're being nudged towards reform. I know what you mean, but why would they be doing that? I don't get it. But I see your logic. No news on Starmer and the Ukrainian rent boys. Well, they're up in court in April, aren't they? Setting his stuff on fire too. I thought so. Well, there you are. Why give Ukraine money? Lend them it like the USA does. Yeah, I agree with you. Greg Galvin says, John, did you see Trump's retweet about the paid professional protesters in the States? It's disgusting. That's Soros. George Soros is evil, along with Bill Gates. Thank you for your comments. No party is going to help. It's way beyond that. The game is to collapse the country. Oh, no, not. Come on, let's not have all the conspiracy nonsense. Just gets in the way. Sorry, you probably disagree with me. Come on, the backbenchers of Labour. Your country needs you to get Starmer out. Let's see how many toe the line when the time comes, says Scotty on YouTube. They've got no morals, none of them. Well, I definitely agree with you on that comment. They are all self-serving pigs. We know that. But our country is in crisis. We've got a prime minister who hasn't got a clue. What to do this week. A blockbuster. Hasn't got a clue. Hasn't got a Scooby-Doo. But who would you replace him with? I think it will be either Burnham or Khan. I can't see anyone who's an MP at the moment who could do a better job. I can't. It fills me with dread saying that. And then I look across the Tories. They just don't know what they're doing either, do they? They've had a few hits just recently, but on the whole, useless. Yeah? And then reform. Problem with reform, they ain't got enough people yet. And some of the people they got are absolute idiots. I like Farage. I know him personally. Richard Tice is impressing me a bit more, but I don't know. Where's the experience? That's the problem. Are you with me or against me? Seeking keeps saying West Streeting. You got some money on it or something at the bookies. Good luck if you have. Anyway, that's me done. Thank you very, very much indeed. My call to action tonight is please keep the pressure on Starmer. If you are in one of the constituencies where one of these MPs are, make sure you're telling them vote against it. And we haven't really even got into the basics of the welfare bill. I just think it's wrong. I just think that I can't believe that they're a socialist government and they've attacked students, they've attacked farmers. Well, I suppose the farmers maybe, but they've attacked the elderly, they've attacked people with disabilities. What's the point? Why would you do that? I know sometimes when you've got a big majority, you want to get a lot done at the early stages so you don't actually lose favour, so to speak. But I just don't think he's got any political judgment. I just don't think Keir Starmer is a politician. Greg Galvin says we need the House to give a vote of no confidence, but they're all on the gravy train. Yeah, it's not going to happen like that. Thank you for your comments. Thanks for all your views. Keep the argument going on Twitter, especially when the lefties get on there. Give them hell. 17 likes tonight. That's brilliant. If you're watching this later, you can still press the like button. If you're listening on a podcast, hope you've enjoyed it. Come back and see me in glorious widescreen. And I'll be back tomorrow at 6:30. If you can donate a few pounds, it's www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt, no H in John. And, as much as you want. It's still got that cough. Starts at £5. I've got to go now. I shall speak to you tomorrow. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.